How to grieve the person you were before the pain. You can miss them and still love who you've become. You didn't just lose people. You didn't just lose moments. You lost versions of yourself. The part of you that used to laugh without caution, the part of you that trusted easily, the part of you that saw the world through innocence, not survival. That version of you is gone, not because you failed, but because life demanded growth. And growth often begins with grief. Today, we're talking about how to grieve the person you were before the pain. Let's begin. Welcome back to Get Up, Show Up, Never Give Up, the podcast for people who don't just want healing, they want truth. This is the space where we confront the parts no one talks about. And today, we're not talking about grieving a relationship or a job. We are talking about something even deeper. The loss of you, that earlier, more open, more trusting, maybe even more naive version of you. The one who existed before trauma, betrayal, illness, heartbreak, or hardship rearranged your soul. This episode is for anyone who's ever looked in the mirror and thought, I miss who I used to be, but I don't know how to get back. Maybe the truth isn't about going back. Maybe the truth is we're supposed to grieve and then grow forward. Let's break it down. What it means to grieve yourself. Grief isn't just about death. It's about loss of any kind. Psychologists call this non-death loss, and it's just as real, just as painful, and just as complex. According to a study published in Frontiers in Psychology 2019, non-death losses such as identity changes due to trauma, disability, divorce, or major life events can create prolonged grief symptoms. These include sadness, confusion, longing, and loss of self-worth. When life forces you to become someone else in order to survive, you inevitably lose something in the process. That something might have been joy. It might have been trust, might have been belief in goodness, ease, or dreams. You may feel like you don't recognize yourself anymore. You miss how you used to show up in the world. You resent what the pain made you become. You feel guilty for not feeling like you anymore. But all of this is a form of grief. You're not broken. You're grieving. And that grief deserves to be named. Signs you're grieving a past version of you. Grieving who you were doesn't always feel like sadness. It can look like nostalgia with pain. You look at old pictures and feel a pit in your stomach. Like you're mourning someone who died, but that someone is you too, overcompensating. You throw yourself into becoming the new you without ever pausing to honor what was lost. Productivity replaces healing. 3, irritability or emotional detachment. You find yourself numb or disconnected because letting yourself feel would be too overwhelming. 4, avoiding silence. You keep your life noisy, music, social media, busyness, because quiet would force you to face the emptiness. 5, chronic used to thinking. I used to be happy. I used to be fearless. I used to believe in love. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're not ungrateful for missing your former self. You're human, adjusting to a new emotional reality. Acknowledge it. Feel it. Name it. The psychology of identity loss. Let's go deeper. Why does this hit so hard? According to identity theory and psychology, Our self-concept is made up of roles we're internalized: student, daughter, friend, son, dreamer, achiever, lover, etc. When pain, especially trauma, enters the picture, it disrupts those roles. Suddenly, the me who trusted people is gone. The me who felt safe walking alone is gone. The me who believed in love, family, or anything without question is gone. This disruption leads to identity confusion, a state where the past you doesn't match your current you and your future feels unclear. It's the psychological equivalent of looking in the mirror and seeing a stranger. In Journal of Traumatic Stress, 2012, research shows that trauma often leads to shattered assumptions. The belief that the world is safe, people are good, and the future is controllable. When these are shattered, you change. And when you change that deeply, it's not just transformation, it's loss. And loss needs mourning, a ceremony for the past you. What if we held space for that version of you? What if we honored them the way we would a lost loved one? This is where healing begins. Here's a simple 5-step self-guided grief ritual you can do to honor who you were before the pain. Step 1, write a letter to the old you. Start with, "Dear me, I miss you." Say what you loved about that version of you. What dreams they had, what joy they carried, what lessons they left behind. Step 2, name what was lost. Be specific. Did you lose your innocence, spontaneity, a belief in love, optimism? Psychologists suggest that naming loss helps us validate and integrate it instead of suppressing or bypassing it. Step 3, say thank you. That version of you didn't fail. They got you here. Even if they were naive, trusting, or unprepared, they lived, they risked, they believed. Honor that. Step 4, release guilt. Guilt often shows up when we become stronger, more guarded, or more cautious. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to protect yourself. You're allowed to change your boundaries. Evolving doesn't mean you betrayed the old you. It means you outgrew what hurt you. Step 5, welcome who you are now. Who are you now? A warrior? A protector? A truth teller? You may have scars, but you also have wisdom. You may have walls, but you also have clarity. Grieve who you were, but don't forget to love who you are. What grief looks like over time. There is no timeline. There is no finish line. Grieving your old self will come in waves. When you see something they used to love, when you face new pain they would have never survived, when you realize you don't remember how they used to feel. Sometimes you'll cry. Sometimes you'll smile with tears in your eyes. Sometimes you'll just sit in silence. That's normal. Dr. Pauline Boss coined the term ambiguous loss, when the loss isn't final but still is deeply felt. This applies perfectly to grieving versions of ourselves. Because the old you didn't die, they just evolved. But the pain is still real. Give yourself grace. Give yourself time. Give yourself permission to feel what you gain from the grief. This grief isn't pointless. It gives you gifts. 1, clarity. You know now what you won't tolerate, what you deserve, what boundaries are sacred. 2, depth. You love differently now. Maybe with less fantasy, but with more truth. You listen harder, you observe more. 3, strength. Pain taught you how to stand in storms, how to self-soothe, how to rebuild. 4, empathy. You see others differently. You carry more softness. You understand what it means to hurt and keep going. Let grief change you, not destroy you. Let's make this practical. Here's a 3-part grief integration framework you can use. Awareness. Ask yourself, who was I before this pain? What parts of me did I lose? What do I miss the most? Here are some journaling prompts. The version of me I miss most is, back then I used to believe, I didn't realize I lost this until. Let's move on to acceptance and affirmations. I am allowed to miss who I was. Grief is part of healing, not proof of failure. I can love my past self and still move forward. Practice. Read your letter to your past self out loud. Sit in stillness with no distractions. Let the emotion rise without judgment. Ask yourself, who am I becoming now? What strengths did this pain reveal? What boundaries protect this new version of me? Here's an action that you can take. Create a visual symbol of your new self. A bracelet, a word on your mirror, a color, a song. Let it represent your rebirth. You don't have to be the old you. You don't have to pretend you didn't change. You don't have to keep chasing a version of yourself that no longer exists just to feel okay. It's okay to cry for them. It's okay to miss them. It's okay to feel sad that you'll never be that version again. But it's also okay to be proud of who you've become. The old you got you here, and the new you, they're not broken. They're built. If this episode touched something deep in you, share it with someone who's in the middle of becoming. Let them know they're not crazy for grieving who they were. They're healing. They're growing. They are rising. Visit Get Up, Show Up, Never Give Up and explore ebooks, apparels that speak your truth and hold daily reminders that you're not alone in this journey. You can miss who you were and still love who you're becoming. Remember to get up, show up, and never give up. I'll see you in the next episode.